Here's a question: why do some people seem untouchable, like nothing ever gets under their skin? And why do others crumble at the slightest inconvenience? The difference isn't luck or circumstance, it's a skill. And today I'll show you how to master it. Life is noisy, unpredictable, and full of moments that test your patience. But here's the truth: the world doesn't get easier. Instead, you get stronger. This video is about learning how to act as if nothing bothers you, not because you're ignoring problems, but because you've built the resilience to handle them. Stay with me and we'll break down exactly how to do it step by step in ways you can use today. 1. Understand the noise isn't personal. Life throws all sorts of challenges at us: disruptions, disagreements, disappointments. The world feels noisy, chaotic, and sometimes downright unfair. But here's something important to remember: the vast majority of the noise you face isn't personal. In fact, most of the time it has nothing to do with you. Take a moment to think about the last time something bothered you. Maybe it was a rude comment from a stranger or an unexpected situation that threw off your entire day. It's easy to feel like the world is against you or that people are out to get you. But the truth is, everyone is dealing with their own problems, their own stresses, and their own inner chaos. That driver who cut you off in traffic, they might be late for an important meeting. Maybe they're dealing with personal stress and not paying attention. Either way, it's likely that their actions were about them, not you. You didn't do anything wrong. The boss who snapped at you during a meeting, perhaps they're facing pressure from above or dealing with challenges you don't know about. We all have our own struggles, and sometimes those struggles spill over into our interactions with others. When you start to understand that much of the chaos around you is not directed at you, it becomes easier to let it go. You stop internalizing other people's actions and words. You stop taking things personally. And when you do that, you free yourself from unnecessary weight. You're no longer carrying the emotional baggage of someone else's issues. Instead, you can keep your energy focused on what truly matters to you. This doesn't mean that you should allow people to treat you poorly or that you should tolerate disrespect. Not at all. But it does mean that when you encounter negativity, you don't have to internalize it or carry it with you. It's about creating distance between your emotions and the things happening around you. Imagine this: someone cuts you off in traffic, and instead of getting angry or frustrated, you simply think, they're probably having a rough day. You don't let it ruin your mood or affect the rest of your day. You just let it slide off you like water off a duck's back. That's freedom. You aren't allowing someone else's chaos to invade your peace. You're creating a boundary that protects your calm. The key to mastering this is awareness. Every time you feel yourself getting upset, stop and ask yourself, is this really about me? Or is this someone else's stuff? Recognize when you're reacting to someone else's noise and make the conscious decision to let it go. The less you take personally, the lighter you'll feel. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes, and the more peace you'll have in your life. 2. Master the art of the pause. Life is full of moments that test our patience: difficult conversations, stressful situations, and unexpected challenges. In these moments, it's easy to react. We react to someone's rude comment. We react to a frustrating problem. We react to everything, often without thinking. But here's the secret: there's always a small window of time before we react. A brief pause, just a moment where we have the power to choose how we respond. Most of us miss this pause. We don't take the time to think before we speak or act. We let our emotions take the wheel. But if we learn to master the art of the pause, we gain control over how we respond, and that makes all the difference. The pause is the space between stimulus and response. It's the brief moment when you can choose to be calm, measured, and deliberate. It's a game changer, but it requires practice and self-awareness. It's not something that happens automatically. You have to be intentional about it. Imagine this: someone at work criticizes you. Your initial instinct might be to argue back, defend yourself, or get upset. But instead of reacting, you take a moment, you pause, you breathe in deeply. You allow the initial rush of emotion to pass, and then you respond calmly, thoughtfully, and with control. The beauty of the pause is that it allows you to take a step back and view the situation objectively. Instead of being driven by emotion, you have the opportunity to think clearly. You can choose your response based on your values, your goals, and your long-term vision rather than being swept up in the heat of the moment. One of the best ways to practice the pause is to create a routine. Start by giving yourself a few seconds before responding in any difficult situation. When you're about to speak, take a deep breath. Count to 3. Then answer. This small but powerful technique can completely change the way you interact with the world. It allows you to create a space between you and your emotions, which is key to staying unbothered in stressful moments. But the pause is not just about stopping yourself from reacting negatively. It's also about choosing to respond thoughtfully. When you pause, you give yourself the chance to evaluate your options. You might realize that the situation isn't as important as you thought. Or you might find a way to approach it with more empathy, understanding, or even humor. The pause also creates room for resilience. Life is filled with challenges, and those challenges are inevitable. But when you pause, you give yourself the strength to face those challenges without being overwhelmed. You stop reacting like a victim and start responding like a person in control. The beauty of mastering the pause is that it makes you less vulnerable to external chaos. No matter what happens around you, you remain calm, centered, and in control. You're no longer at the mercy of every little annoyance, every rude comment, or every challenging moment. Instead, you take a breath, step back, and respond with clarity. So next time you find yourself in a difficult situation, remember the power of the pause. Stop, breathe, and give yourself the space to respond in the way that aligns with your highest self. You'll be amazed at how much more peaceful, composed, and posed and unbothered you feel as a result. Mastering the pause is a skill that takes practice. It's not something that happens overnight. But the more you practice, the easier it becomes to create that space between stimulus and response. And the more you practice, the more you'll find yourself navigating life's challenges with a sense of calm and control. By understanding that the noise around you isn't personal and mastering the pause, you create a powerful foundation for handling life's challenges with grace and resilience. These skills aren't just nice to haves, they're essential tools for building emotional strength and maintaining inner peace amidst external chaos. The more you practice, the more you'll find yourself acting as if nothing bothers you, no matter what life throws your way. 3. Redefine what bothers you. It's easy to get caught up in the things that irritate us, the interruptions, the slow traffic, the long lines, the criticism. But what if we could take a different approach? What if instead of seeing these frustrations as obstacles, we began to see them as opportunities for growth? Let's imagine a situation you're working hard on a project, focused and in the zone. Then someone interrupts you with a trivial question or request. The first instinct might be to get annoyed, feel disrespected, or lose your train of thought. But what if, instead of reacting in frustration, you viewed this interruption as an opportunity to practice patience? What if you saw it as a reminder that life is unpredictable and out of our control? This shift in mindset is what it means to redefine what bothers you. It's not about pretending the things that irritate you aren't happening or putting on a false sense of happiness. It's about reframing how you see discomfort, inconvenience, or frustration. Instead of allowing these things to derail your peace of mind, you can choose to see them as part of the journey, a way to sharpen your resilience. Here's how this works. Every time something happens that you would typically get upset about, whether it's a rude comment, a small failure, or a frustrating delay, take a step back and ask yourself, how can I grow from this? If someone cuts in front of you in line, don't let it ruin your day. Instead, think, here's a chance to practice patience and let go of the small stuff. If you hit a roadblock at work, see it as an opportunity to adapt and figure out a solution instead of feeling defeated. The more you shift your perspective in this way, the more you'll realize that fewer things will truly bother you. You'll no longer waste your energy on trivial inconveniences. Instead, you'll see each challenge as a lesson, a tool that sharpens your emotional strength and your ability to handle future situations with ease. Over time, you begin to cultivate an internal environment where peace is the default. Let's take a deeper dive into why this works. When you react to external events with frustration, it's often because you have an expectation of how things should be. You expect people to behave a certain way, situations to unfold in a predictable manner, or your day to go according to your plan. When things don't meet these expectations, it's easy to feel upset, disappointed, or even powerless. But what if your expectations weren't tied to how others behave or how your day turns out? What if your peace of mind wasn't contingent on external factors? This is where the power of redefining what bothers you comes into play. If you decide that you will no longer be disturbed by things outside your control, your emotional stability becomes less fragile. Imagine having a frustrating conversation with a friend. They don't understand you, they're arguing with you, and it feels like the conversation is going nowhere. Instead of getting upset or defensive, you pause and ask yourself, how can I grow from this? How can I listen more, be more patient, or even let go of the need to win this conversation? When you take this approach, the situation changes. You stop focusing on the problem and start focusing on the solution, your own growth. Redefining what bothers you doesn't mean you become passive or indifferent. You still care about the things that matter to you. You still stand up for yourself when necessary. But it does mean you don't let small annoyances take up unnecessary space in your mind. You choose how to respond rather than reacting automatically. This reframing technique requires practice, but like any skill, the more you practice, the easier it becomes. Over time, you'll become less affected by things that used to rattle you. You'll begin to move through the world with a sense of calm and control, knowing that your peace is determined by how you choose to view the world around you, not by how the world behaves. It's like building muscle. At first, it's hard to let go of your usual responses, but each time you practice, it gets easier. You build emotional strength, and eventually you reach a place where you feel unshakable in your ability to stay calm, no matter what life throws at you. So the next time something bothers you, whether it's a delay, an unexpected problem, or someone's behavior, ask yourself, how can I grow from this? Use that moment to practice patience, understanding, or acceptance. The more you do this, the less you'll be bothered, and the more you'll cultivate the inner peace you seek. 4. Control what you can, release what you can't. There's a certain freedom that comes from understanding one simple truth: you can't control everything. You can't control the weather, the traffic, or other people's actions. Life is filled with unpredictable moments, and if you try to control everything, you'll only drive yourself mad. But here's the good news: there's also great power in understanding what is in your control. You can control your reactions, your thoughts, your decisions, and your actions. By focusing on what you can control, you free yourself from the anxiety and frustration of trying to change things you have no power over. Let's think about traffic, for example. We've all been there, sitting in a car, stuck in gridlock, feeling the frustration rise as time ticks away. You can't control the other drivers, the road closures, or the accidents that may be causing the delay. But what you can control is how you react. You can choose to get upset, fume about it, and let the frustration take over your day, or you can choose to accept it for what it is and shift your focus to something more productive. You could listen to an interesting podcast, practice deep breathing, or use the time to plan the rest of your day. This principle applies to so many aspects of life. Take the situation where someone is rude to you. You can't control their behavior, but you can control your reaction. You can choose not to let their negativity affect you. You can decide to let it slide off you instead of carrying it with you throughout the day. When you take this approach, you shift your energy from reacting to external forces to taking control of your own emotional state. This is the essence of freedom, being able to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and control. There's something incredibly liberating about recognizing what's within your control and what's not. When you try to control everything, you end up drained, frustrated, and stressed out. But when you release what you can't control and focus your energy on what you can, you regain a sense of peace and purpose. The most important part of this is learning how to let go. Let go of the need to control other people. Let go of the need to control the outcome of every situation. Let go of the need to be in charge of everything around you. This doesn't mean you give up or resign yourself to being passive. It means you choose where to focus your energy in a way that's productive and empowering. One powerful way to practice releasing control is by taking a step back and asking yourself, is this something I can change or influence? Or is this something that's completely out of my hands? If it's out of your control, let it go. It doesn't mean you ignore it, but you choose not to let it control you. Take the example of work pressure. Maybe you're dealing with a boss who has high expectations, or perhaps you're working on a project with tight deadlines. You can't control the pressure or the demands, but you can control how you respond to them. You can choose to take one step at a time, break down the tasks, and tackle them without getting overwhelmed. The key here is to stop fighting against what you can't change and focus on what you can change. The more you practice this, the more powerful and grounded you'll feel. You'll stop wasting energy on things that don't matter and start investing it in areas where you can make a difference. Over time, this will make you feel more resilient, more capable, and more at peace with life's uncertainties. So when you're faced with challenges, ask yourself, what can I control here? What can I release? And once you identify what's within your control, focus your energy on that. The rest, let it go. You'll find that by releasing what you can't control, you gain a deeper sense of freedom, clarity, and peace. 5. Build a mental fortress. Your mind is the most valuable asset you have. Think of it as a fortress, strong, resilient, and impenetrable. If your mind is weak, every little setback, negative comment, or unpleasant situation can break through and disturb your peace. But if your mind is strong, nothing, no matter how chaotic, stressful, or difficult, can shake you. The problem for most people is that they don't take the necessary steps to fortify their minds. They let external events and other people's words dictate how they feel. They let their thoughts run wild, constantly reacting to the world instead of controlling it. The truth is, your mental strength doesn't come from external circumstances. It comes from the way you train your mind to respond. Building a mental fortress starts with developing habits that strengthen your mind. Every single day, you need to take the time to nurture and protect this inner strength. And just like any fortress, it requires regular upkeep. The best way to do this is through consistent practices that train you to focus, remain calm, and maintain emotional control, no matter what's happening around you. One of the most powerful tools to strengthen your mind is meditation. Meditation isn't just about sitting in silence for a few minutes, it's about building mental clarity, focus, and resilience. When you meditate, you're learning to focus your attention on the present moment, to clear the clutter, and to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. This practice helps you to stay grounded and not let the chaos of the world throw you off course. Another crucial practice is journaling. Writing down your thoughts, feelings, and experiences every day can have a profound impact on your mental clarity and emotional health. It's a way to process your emotions, reflect on your day, and assess your reactions. By getting your thoughts out on paper, you free yourself from the constant swirl of ideas and concerns that often cloud your mind. Journaling helps you create mental space so you can make better decisions, respond more thoughtfully, and strengthen your resolve. Even just a moment of silence in your day can be incredibly powerful. In the rush of everyday life, we often don't take the time to stop and reflect. But a few moments of quiet, away from distractions, can help you regain your focus and reset your mental state. When you give yourself this time to be still, you're recharging your mental energy and reminding yourself that you have the power to control how you respond to the world. The more consistently you engage in these practices, the stronger your mental fortress becomes. You'll begin to notice that things that used to rattle you no longer have the same effect. The harsh words, the stressful situations, the setbacks, none of them can break through because your mind is stronger and more resilient. When your mental fortress is solid, you can face any challenge with calm and clarity. And this isn't just about surviving difficult moments, it's about thriving in them. A strong mind doesn't just protect you from external chaos, it allows you to make better decisions, to find solutions in the face of adversity, and to navigate life with confidence. When you cultivate mental strength, you become unstoppable. No matter what life throws at you, you'll be able to handle it with poise and resilience. Remember, mental strength doesn't come overnight. It's built over time through consistent effort and practice. Just like you wouldn't expect to become physically strong by lifting weights once, you can't expect your mind to be strong without regular training. But if you make a commitment to building your mental fortress day by day, it will become an unshakable foundation for your life. 6. Practice the power of detachment. The things that bother us the most, whether it's a personal rejection, a setback at work, or an unexpected change, are often rooted in attachment. We become attached to outcomes, to how things should be, or to what other people think of us. But what if you could let go of that attachment? What if, instead of clinging to specific results or expecting life to unfold in a particular way, you embraced detachment? Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you stop working towards your goals or stop loving the people in your life. It doesn't mean that you become indifferent or numb. Instead, detachment is the practice of caring without clinging. It's about being fully involved in your life and your goals, but also being at peace with the fact that you cannot control everything, and not being overly attached to specific outcomes or expectations. When you practice detachment, you become free. You stop letting the opinions of others dictate how you feel. You stop feeling as though your happiness depends on the way things go or how others behave. Instead, you are able to move through life with calm confidence, knowing that you can handle whatever comes your way without getting caught up in the drama or disappointment of unmet expectations. Think about it, how much of your stress comes from things you cannot control? How much of your frustration comes from expecting others to behave a certain way or trying to control situations that are out of your hands? When you practice detachment, you release this unnecessary burden. You stop holding on to outcomes, and instead you focus on the process. You give your best effort, but you're not attached to the result. This doesn't mean you become passive or disengaged. Detachment isn't about withdrawing from life or avoiding challenges. It's about recognizing that you can't control everything and choosing to release the need for constant control. When you're detached, you're still fully present. You still care deeply about the things that matter to you, but you've learned to accept that the world doesn't revolve around your plans or your expectations. Let's say you're working hard on a project at work and you're putting in long hours. You care about the success of the project and you want to do well. But at the same time, you accept that the final result may not be exactly what you expected, or it might not go according to plan. If the project doesn't succeed as you had hoped, you won't fall apart. You'll be disappointed, yes, but you won't be crushed. Instead, you'll take it as an opportunity to learn and grow. You'll focus on how to improve next time rather than clinging to the need for perfection. In relationships, detachment allows you to love without fear of loss. You can give your time and energy to the people you care about, but you don't become dependent on their love or approval for your happiness. You can love them fully without the constant worry that you need to change them or control the relationship. This is a liberating form of love, a love that's free from the anxiety of attachment. One of the most powerful aspects of detachment is that it gives you the freedom to truly live in the present moment. When you're not constantly attached to an outcome or fixated on the future, you can enjoy the process, appreciate the journey, and stay focused on what truly matters. You stop wasting your energy on things that are beyond your control, and instead you direct that energy towards things you can actually influence. Detachment is a practice. It takes time, effort, and patience. It's not about becoming detached from life, it's about becoming detached from the unnecessary need to control every aspect of it. When you can detach from the need for a specific outcome, you free yourself from unnecessary stress, frustration, and disappointment. You become more adaptable, more resilient, and more at peace with the way life unfolds. So next time you find yourself getting overly attached to an outcome or feeling frustrated because things aren't going your way, remind yourself of the power of detachment. Let go of the need to control and embrace the freedom that comes with caring without clinging. You'll find that by practicing detachment, you're not giving up on life, you're simply giving yourself the freedom to live it fully without the burden of attachment. 7. Respond with curiosity, not emotion. In life, you'll face all kinds of challenges, difficult people, tough situations, and unexpected setbacks. But one of the most powerful ways to navigate these challenges is not by reacting emotionally, but by responding with curiosity. Let's face it, it's easy to get defensive or angry when someone criticizes you or when something goes wrong. We're wired to protect ourselves, to defend our ideas, and to avoid discomfort. But what if, instead of reacting with anger or frustration, you responded with a deep curiosity? What if, rather than rushing to defend yourself or complain, you paused and asked, what's really going on here? What can I learn from this? The next time you find yourself in a challenging situation, take a moment to pause and reflect. Ask yourself these simple questions. Why is this happening? What can I learn from this? How can I use this to grow? In doing so, you begin to shift your focus from the immediate frustration or emotional reaction to a mindset of learning and personal growth. Curiosity is one of the most powerful tools for personal development because it turns obstacles into opportunities. When you approach a problem with curiosity, you're not merely trying to get through it. You're embracing the challenge as a chance to discover something new. This shift in perspective can change everything. Instead of feeling like life is constantly happening to you, you start to see life as something you can actively engage with and learn from. And that shift is incredibly empowering. For example, imagine someone criticizes your work. Your immediate emotional reaction might be to defend yourself or feel offended. But if you respond with curiosity, you'll ask, why do they feel this way? What is it about my work that needs improvement? Is there something I can learn from their feedback that will make me better? You stop seeing their criticism as an attack on your character, and instead you begin to see it as constructive feedback that will help you grow. Similarly, when things go wrong in your life, whether it's a project that fails, a relationship that falters, or a setback at work, curiosity allows you to step back and look at the bigger picture. Instead of letting frustration or disappointment take over, curiosity invites you to ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? What's the lesson here? How can I adapt and improve moving forward? This is the difference between being stuck in negative emotions and using adversity as a catalyst for growth. Curiosity also helps you handle criticism and negativity more gracefully. When you stop reacting emotionally to people's comments or actions, you can approach each situation with a calm, open mind. This doesn't mean you allow people to walk all over you, but it does mean you don't let their words or behavior steal your peace. Instead, you can respond thoughtfully with a sense of curiosity and a willingness to understand their perspective. When you approach life as a student, everything becomes an opportunity for growth. You stop taking things personally and instead start learning from each experience. Curiosity shifts your mindset from one of defensiveness to one of empowerment. And when you embrace this mindset, very little can rattle you. You become more resilient, more adaptable, and more capable of handling whatever comes your way. It's important to note that curiosity doesn't mean avoiding your emotions or pretending that you don't feel hurt, frustrated, or angry at times. Emotions are a natural part of being human. But instead of letting your emotions dictate your response, curiosity helps you create a space between the feeling and the action. It's this space that gives you the power to choose how to respond. The next time you find yourself in a difficult situation, try to approach it with curiosity. Instead of getting emotionally swept away by what's happening, take a step back and ask yourself, what can I learn here? By doing so, you'll transform your challenges into stepping stones for personal growth, and you'll become a more thoughtful, composed, and resilient person. 8. Strengthen your emotional boundaries. Imagine your emotional energy as a bank account. Every time you react to someone's negativity, every time you allow yourself to get caught up in drama or stress, it's like making a withdrawal from that account. Over time, if you keep spending from that account without replenishing it, you'll end up emotionally bankrupt. This is why setting emotional boundaries is not just important, it's essential for your well-being. The reality is that not everyone deserves access to your emotions. Not everyone gets the privilege of affecting how you feel. But the truth is, most of us let the wrong people and situations drain us. We allow other people's words, actions, and opinions to determine how we feel. We let their negativity, complaints, or criticisms rob us of our energy. And over time, this erodes our peace and happiness. Setting emotional boundaries means being intentional about who and what gets your emotional energy. Just like you wouldn't let just anyone walk into your home uninvited, you shouldn't let just anyone invade your emotional space. Boundaries are essential for protecting your inner peace and maintaining your mental well-being. You see, emotional energy is limited. It's a finite resource. If you're constantly reacting to other people's emotions or allowing their negativity to affect you, you're spending your emotional energy on things that don't serve you. This leaves you with less energy to focus on what truly matters: your goals, your relationships, and your own personal growth. So how do you build these emotional boundaries? The first step is recognizing that you have the right to protect your emotional space. You don't owe anyone your emotional energy, especially if they are consistently draining you. This doesn't mean you cut people off or become cold and distant, but it does mean that you need to be mindful of where you invest your emotions. Start by becoming aware of the people and situations that drain you. Notice how you feel after interacting with certain individuals. Do they leave you feeling exhausted, angry, or frustrated? Or do they uplift you, inspire you, and help you grow? Once you've identified these emotional leaks, you can begin to set clear boundaries. This might mean limiting your time with negative or toxic people, or it might mean saying no to situations that drain your energy. Setting emotional boundaries also means learning to say no without guilt. You don't have to say yes to everything or everyone, especially if it compromises your emotional well-being. Saying no is an act of self-respect. It's a way of protecting your energy and making sure that you have enough left for the things that matter most. Another important aspect of emotional boundaries is learning to manage your own emotions. While you can't always control what other people say or do, you can control how you respond. If someone is rude to you, you have the choice to not let it affect your mood. You can choose to remain calm, composed, and centered, rather than letting their behavior dictate how you feel. This requires emotional maturity and self-discipline, but with practice, you'll become more adept at protecting your emotional space. By strengthening your emotional boundaries, you're not just protecting your energy, you're also ensuring that you have the capacity to give to the things that matter most in your life. When your emotional space is clear and protected, you can focus more on what's important to you, your personal growth, your relationships, and your goals. You'll find that you have more energy to invest in the things that truly matter, and you'll be less affected by the distractions, negativity, and chaos that surround you. In the end, building emotional boundaries isn't about being selfish, it's about taking care of yourself so that you can show up as the best version of yourself in every area of your life. When you protect your emotional space, you create the mental clarity, focus, and energy needed to navigate the challenges of life with grace and resilience. You become less susceptible to emotional burnout, and you're able to create a life that's aligned with your values and your goals. So take the time to strengthen your emotional boundaries, protect your peace, invest your emotional energy wisely, and watch how much more fulfilled and focused you become. 9, see the bigger picture. Life is full of moments that feel heavy and overwhelming, those times when something goes wrong and it seems like the world is falling apart. Maybe you get stuck in traffic and it feels like the entire day is ruined. Or perhaps you have a disagreement with someone you care about and it feels like the end of the relationship. We've all had those moments where a minor setback or irritation seems to take over our entire worldview. It's natural to react that way, especially when we're caught up in the heat of the moment. But what if I told you that one of the most powerful ways to stay unbothered, to keep your peace, and to maintain control is by learning to see the bigger picture? Instead of getting lost in the details, instead of allowing a delay or a disagreement to define your day, you have the ability to step back and ask yourself, will this matter a year from now? A month from now? Even a week from now? And most of the time, the answer is no. The key here is perspective. When we focus on the immediate, we magnify the problem and it becomes all-consuming. But when we step back and look at the bigger picture, we begin to see things in their proper context. A delay in your day may be frustrating, but in the grand scheme of things, it's a small bump in the road. A disagreement with a friend might seem like a major issue right now, but when you zoom out, you realize it's just a temporary moment that doesn't have to define your relationship or your happiness. The ability to see the bigger picture comes from cultivating a mindset of patience and perspective. When you remind yourself that most of what bothers you in the moment won't matter in the long run, it becomes easier to maintain your composure and your peace. Life has a way of presenting challenges and setbacks, but none of them are permanent. The key is not to let these fleeting moments control how you feel or how you respond. Think about it. If you could look at the events in your life from a year ahead, how many of the things that seem like huge issues today would even matter? Chances are, the things you're stressing over right now will be forgotten in time. So why allow them to consume your energy in the present? Instead, by keeping the bigger picture in mind, you can navigate life with a sense of calm and resilience. The bigger picture is also a powerful tool when it comes to perspective on your long-term goals. When things don't go as planned, it's easy to get discouraged. Maybe you've been working on a project for weeks and things are not moving as quickly as you'd like. Or maybe you've set a goal, but progress seems slow. In these moments, the bigger picture becomes your anchor. You realize that success doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of consistent effort, persistence, and learning from every step along the way. Instead of focusing on the immediate setbacks, you focus on the end goal. You see the larger purpose behind your efforts, and this helps you stay motivated and unbothered by the small hurdles you encounter. And let's not forget how this perspective impacts your relationships. In any relationship, disagreements and misunderstandings will arise. But when you're able to see the bigger picture, you realize that a single argument or disagreement is not a reflection of the entire relationship. You can step back and ask yourself, is this really worth losing my peace over? By putting the issue in perspective, you prevent it from snowballing into something bigger than it needs to be. In times of stress or frustration, remember this simple question, will this matter in the long run? The answer is often no. This realization helps you shift your focus from the immediate discomfort to the broader journey of your life. It allows you to keep moving forward without getting stuck in temporary challenges. When you embrace the bigger picture, you're no longer a slave to the moment. You're empowered to stay grounded, to keep your peace, and to respond with calm and clarity. 10. Commit to daily growth. Resilience isn't something you're born with, it's something you develop. It's the result of small, consistent actions taken every day. It's the cumulative effect of choosing patience over anger, reflection over reaction, and calm over chaos. Over time, these choices build a strong foundation, one that can withstand life's inevitable storms. The truth is, resilience isn't built overnight. It's not about having a sudden burst of strength in one moment. It's about the daily commitment to growth, to becoming better. To becoming better. When it comes to building resilience, the key is consistency. Every time you practice patience in a frustrating situation, you're strengthening your ability to stay composed in the face of adversity. Every time you take a step back instead of reacting impulsively, you're building emotional resilience. Every time you take time for yourself to reflect or recharge, you're fortifying your mental strength. These small actions may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time they add up. It's like building muscle in a gym. You don't get stronger from one workout, you get stronger because of the consistent effort you put in over time. Commit to daily growth by making these practices a part of your routine. Set aside time each day to reflect, to check in with yourself, and to intentionally work on improving your emotional and mental resilience. It could be through journaling, meditation, or simply taking time to pause and breathe. It could be practicing mindfulness in your daily activities or making the conscious choice to respond thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively. Whatever it is, commit to doing something every day that nurtures your growth. But let's be clear, resilience isn't just about the good days. It's easy to be calm, patient, and composed when everything is going well, but real growth happens when things aren't going as planned. Real resilience is tested during adversity. And that's why it's important to commit to daily growth, even on the tough days. When you have a difficult conversation or face an unexpected setback, that's when your resilience is truly being strengthened. These are the moments that matter the most. These are the opportunities to practice patience, to practice self-control, and to practice growth. So accept that you'll have both good days and bad days. That's part of the journey. Life isn't about avoiding the challenges or pretending they don't exist. Life is about how you respond to those challenges. It's about building the strength to face adversity with calm, with grace, and with confidence. It's about understanding that growth isn't linear, it's a process. Some days will be easier than others, and that's okay. What matters is that you continue to move forward. The commitment to daily growth is what ultimately transforms your ability to handle life's challenges. Over time, you'll begin to notice a shift. Fewer things will bother you. The situations that once triggered frustration or anger will seem less significant. And when those things do happen, you'll find yourself better equipped to handle them. You'll respond with patience, with understanding, and with resilience. You'll have built a foundation that can withstand even the toughest storms. So commit to the process. Embrace the small daily actions that build your resilience. And remember, it's not about achieving perfection, it's about making progress every day. With consistent effort and dedication, you'll become someone who is unbothered by life's challenges, someone who can handle anything that comes their way with grace and confidence. And that's the power of daily growth. Life will always have its challenges, but you don't have to be controlled by them. By shifting your mindset, building resilience, and practicing these strategies, you can learn to act as if nothing bothers you. It's not about ignoring life's problems, it's about rising above them.